Book Publicists of Southern California proudly present the 2013 Ernie Weckbaugh Memorial Lifetime Achievement Award. Now you know why I was going to let Erwin do this. To Dr. Earl Mindell, with all of his wonderful achievements, who throughout his career best exemplifies the spirit, qualities, and accomplishments of our beloved 2010 President Ernie Weckbaugh. And this is a very beautiful, special award, and I'm very proud to present it to you.
Thank you very much. And now, if you want to get some real good tips on how to stay well in the year 2014, Earl Mindell will give you some really great, healthy tips. Here he is, Dr. Earl Mindell.
Well, thank you. Erwin, it's a pleasure to be here. Actually, I've only been a member for 34 years. And Deborah did interview me, I remember, when the Vitamin Bible first came out. I think you were working for a Sacramento radio show, right? So I've been a member a long time, and there's only one Erwin Zucker. Let's give her a hand here. All right. What are some of the secrets of how to get your book to become a national bestseller? I had the opportunity of, and by the way, this is the newest Vitamin Bible. This came out in 2011. I just heard from my agent that we're going to do a new revised 2014 or 2015. So it's been updated about 5 times in the last 34 years. And that's one of the secrets, by the way, of making your book a national bestseller. Show your book to as many people as you can. Erwin told me, sleep with it. A little problem with my wife. By the way, this is my wife, Gail. We're recently married 42 years. So this is the Vitamin Bible. And it's really important to have copies of it with you at all times. Keep it in your car, keep it in your purse, your phone, whatever it is. Show the book, because most people they don't have any imagination. You say, the book, well, here it is. Here's a picture of it. This is what it looks like. People will pick it up. By the way, in the bookstores, they know that if people pick up the book, they are 10 times more likely to buy it than if they just sit on the shelf. So what you do is when you have the book and somebody is here, give it to them. Take a look at it, you see? That means they start to own it. It's a little trick in salesmanship. Another thing to do, does each and every one of you have a card, a calling card, a business card? If you don't, you're making a mistake. Very inexpensive, and have it made up, but a nice one. This one is multicolored. On the back, I list some of my books. And I've given out thousands of these, thousands. And you might say, well, that's old-fashioned. So what? It's good to be old-fashioned, because I've had people call me and say, I got your number. I said, where? Well, you gave me a card. When? 20 years ago. So, very important to get a calling card with the name of your book and how you can basically get a hold of you. Of course, today it's much easier, because the third thing that you have to do is get a website. And I don't care if you're technologically, challenged, get one. Whatever it costs, get a website, because today most people are buying books through the web. There's hardly any bookstores left. Go down Ventura Boulevard. How many bookstores? 2? Go down in West LA. You've got one in Santa Monica. You've got the Book Soup, and you've got one at the Grove. There's one in the Marina. Very few bookstores anymore. But the number one place to buy your book is Amazon.com. So even if you self-publish, get in touch with Amazon, and they'll put it on their list. By the way, this is called a P-book, paper. The other ones are called e-books, electronic. And they're about 20% of the market right now. I just got my royalty statement, and this book is about 10% e-book. because it's still pretty inexpensive. It's a $9.99 seller or $8.99 at Amazon. If you download it, it's $7.99. Most people are going to be buying books through the web. You might say, well, I don't do that. Don't look at yourself. Look at the new generation. We have a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old. The first thing they do in the morning is get on the computer. The computer is their whole life. They don't know anything. In fact, to show how old-fashioned I am, my granddaughter said to me, I wanted to look up something. I said, well, take a look at a book. What? Oh, she went right to the computer and found exactly what she wanted. So it's another world. Get familiar with the electronic world. Facebook. I have 4,800 people on my Facebook. Twitter, if you want to tweet or whatever it is. LinkedIn. You know about LinkedIn? Join LinkedIn too, because you never know who out there is going to be a potential to buy your book. And go to the bookstores, if you can find them, and introduce yourself. Because, you see, if you introduce yourself to someone in the bookstore and they think, oh, I remember the vitamin guy here, you want a book on vitamins, here's the vitamin Bible. It's not easy to keep a book on the bookshelf anymore. Most bookstores have maybe one of my books. That's it. They sell one, then they'll buy another one. So it's another world compared to what it was before. Get a good publicist. Erwin has done fantastic things for me. I did what I call the rubber chicken circuit. You know about that? That's the lions and the tigers and the rotary and the elks and the moose and the meese and whatever. Get involved in your community. Go into, it's a B'nai B'rith, it's the Knights of Columbus, I don't care what it is. They all want speakers. Go there and basically talk about your book. People say, oh, I'm afraid to do it. All right, the first time, the second time, the fifth time, the 10th, you get better at it. But you also, your sphere of influence gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So find out in your community. Chamber of Commerce has all the lists of all these different organizations, and you will be a speaker. I mean, you're not going to get paid for it, but so what? You can go to these things, and usually the principals of the community are there, and they will be able to basically talk about your book. So, very important. Shaking hands is important, too. You know that for every politician that shakes a hand, that's 10 votes. That's why the politicians go to Podunk, Iowa, and Horseshoe, Nevada, or wherever it is, because they know that if they meet somebody face-to-face, they will remember them. And that's the way you should do, too. So get involved in your community. I go to the schools. When I was doing all this stuff, I would go to the schools, make protein drinks for the kids. I would say to the kids, and I always go down on my knees because that's about their height, what's the most important meal of the day? What do you think it is? Break fast. Right? The longest period of time that you haven't eaten is when you break your fast. Unless you have an IV drip set up by the bed, right? And it's also the most abused meal of the day. So I'm going to switch over now to give you some hints about how you can slow the aging process. I'm 73, I'll be 74 January 20th. Okay? We're going to find out how old you are. I don't want to know how old you are chronologically. I want to know how old you are biologically. And here's how we do it. Make a soft fist with one of your hands. Take your thumb and second finger, grab some skin, and pinch it and let it go. The faster the skin snaps back, the younger you are biologically. Not too late. I heard a couple of people say it's all over. It's not all over. The body is an amazing machine. You can, no matter what you do to it, if you take care of yourself, it comes back. You see, the skin is the largest organ of the body. And it tells you your biological age. You shouldn't have wrinkles. You shouldn't have age spots. It all can go away. It takes a little time, but it will work. In the book, the New Vitamin Bible, I talk about this. What we can do to slow the aging process. How many of you are familiar with the term antioxidant? Show of hands. Okay. Antioxidants are the good guys that help protect you against the bad guys. The bad guys are called free radical oxygen molecules that are unstable, and they have to attach to another molecule which causes you to slough off these cells faster. And the faster you slough off the good cells, the faster you age. So the antioxidant neutralizes these free radicals. Example of antioxidants are vitamins A, vitamin C, vitamin E, selenium. There are just some of them, and a lot of the amino acids, the building blocks of protein. So you want to make sure that you have more of the good guys in your bloodstream than the bad guys. So I would definitely take a multiple vitamin or a supplement that has these antioxidants. The example of what an antioxidant does, take an apple, slice the apple in half, and put one of the sides of the apple on this count on the podium. What happens to that apple after a period of time? It turns brown, it rusts, it oxidizes. Well, the same thing is happening in your body. Now, the other half of the apple, before it turned brown, if you squeeze some lemon juice on it, you find that it doesn't turn brown because there's some vitamin C in the lemon juice, and vitamin C, of course, is an antioxidant. Okay? So that's important to slow the aging process. I want to talk about some supplements that some of you might have heard of, some of you have not. Who's heard of coenzyme Q10? Good. You all should be taking it. Why? Because it's the energy supplement. It helps convert our food into energy. Anybody need any more energy here?
What's it called?
Coenzyme Q10. Talk about it in the New Vitamin Bible. Good idea to take it. And you'll see you'll have much more energy. You won't tire as easily, and also gives you more stamina. It's not the rush from Starbucks or the, what's that called, the 5-hour energy thing? You know, I was on a panel of speakers, and one of the speakers dropped about 3 of those 5-hour energy things before getting on stage. He was higher than the building. But he would then crash right afterwards. So coenzyme gives you a nice up and then down. How about fish oil, omega-3? Who's heard of that? Great. Well, I'm old enough to remember that we had a member here. Name was Dale Alexander, right. He talked about cod liver oil. Maybe he should rest in peace, that's all he said. But he was right to a point, but now it's fish oil. Not necessarily fish liver oil, which is a source of vitamin A and D. Fish oil is a source of 2 important nutrients, DHA and EPA. And now we also know about another oil called krill oil, K-R-I-L-L. The blue whale, the largest creature on this earth, survives by eating krill. It's a tiny little crustacean. It opens its mouth as it's swimming in the ocean and literally eats tons of this stuff every day. So I recommend getting a combination of krill and omega fatty acids oil, and because it's an anti-inflammatory, and most of the problems we're having these days are inflammatory problems. We're not dying of old age. We're dying of these, shall we say, inflammatory systems, including heart disease, and we even think cancer. So it's important to have enough of this omega-3 fatty acids in our diet. We'll say, well, I want to get it naturally. Okay, wild salmon, mackerel, cod, halibut, bass, albacore, tuna, sardines, wonderful sources of omega-3. If you're a vegetarian, you go to flaxseed oil. Very excellent source of omega-3 as well. What other nutrients? Well, there's a spice that is well known in Asia and India that most people in the United States have heard of, but they don't really relate to it. It's called turmeric, and its active ingredient is curcumin. Anybody heard of curcumin? You should be taking a curcumin supplement every day because it's important for joints. It's important for basically skin that is supple and young looking, etc. It takes a little time, about a week to 2 weeks, but you will see a difference. And it's available as a supplement. Curcumin, wonderful.
Where do you get that in food?
Where do you get that? You can buy it. It's very expensive. Pardon me? Food? Turmeric.
In what food does that?
It is a food. It's a spice. If you know anybody who's Indian or France. I don't know if you know, but the longest lived people in the world are the Okinawans. It's a little island south of Japan. It's our part of Japan. They live the longest of any people on Earth, and they drink a tea that is made from turmeric every day. Of course, they also don't eat meat the way we do. They eat fish and soy. So turmeric is very important. Lastly, I'm going to talk about a beverage that I think all of you should know about, and that's green tea. Green tea. It's getting so hot that a company by the name of Starbucks is going to start opening up tea shops. Did you know that? It's going to be called Nirvana? Teavana. Yeah, watch it. You'll see in the next year or so, all of a sudden, Teavana shops are going to be opening. Green tea. It's the same tea as the black tea, except it hasn't fermented. You want green tea, and it's a good drink to drink on a daily basis.
What's it mean when it ferments? What happens?
Pardon me?
What happens to when it ferments?
Well, you lose the goodness of the tea. So, those are, by the way, green tea is a very powerful antioxidant too. So all these things are something you can easily add to your diet. And by the way, when you're grocery shopping and buying vegetables, even the government says that half your plate should be vegetables. The darker the color of the fruits and vegetables, the more nutritious. Okay? The darker the color, the more nutritious. So look for, your plate should be very colorful in the sense that it has all the different colors of fruits and vegetables. And it's really true about an apple, by the way. 2 apples a day not only keep the doctor away, but we think can even prevent many of the problems we have. See, I'm a great believer in prevention, not waiting until you have the problem. Too bad the government doesn't go along with me, because our new situation coming in January, so-called health care, it's not health care, it's sickness care. It has nothing to do with health. Right? Too bad. Because I could save this country $1.5 trillion, it's not million, not billion, but $1 trillion in unnecessary expenses. I believe that we should be well and stay well. In fact, maybe we should do like they did in ancient China, when they only paid the physician when they were well.
They still do that.
Why would you want to pay if you're sick?
They still do that.
Whoa! Yeah, it's amazing how smart the Chinese have got recently. So wake up! 2014 is coming. Start to take as good care of yourself as you do your dog, cat, automobile, rose bush, and front lawn. That's all I ask. Be well.